Hello everyone, in this video we are going to take a short break from the analysis and review of UFO UAP crash and retrieval cases, as I believe it is a good point to summarize the most recent news regarding UFOs. After a period of lull, quite a handful of things happened over a short period of time. The first thing worth mentioning is the upcoming UAP hearing before the US Senate Armed Services Committee. This one is going to be chaired by the Democratic Senator from the state of New York, Kirsten Gillibrand, as she is going to get a progress report from the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARROW, run by the Pentagon. This office recently saw a change in the position of its director from Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, largely disliked by the UFO community because of his dismissive approach to the analysis of UAP cases, to Dr. John Kozlowski. Fairly little is known about the new director except for the fact that he seems to be somewhat more receptive to the idea of UAP acceptance as a real thing lurking somewhere out there. Nevertheless, given the past experience with ARROW, the community is holding its collective breath. The other hearing, perhaps more important from the point of view of both the UFO community and the general public at large, is scheduled for 13th of November and is going to take place before the US Congress. This hearing is going to be chaired by the Republican Representative Nancy Mace from the state of South Carolina. She gained fame in the UFO circles during the last year's UAP hearing before the Congress, when she asked the now famous whistleblower David Grush poignant questions leading to the divulgence of biological samples of non-human origin or bodies of dead pilots being in possession of the USA. In regards to this hearing, fairly little is known. We have seen the involvement of Representatives Anna Paulina Luna from the Republican Party and Jared Moskowitz representing the Democrats. Tim Burchett, who became a vocal agent for disclosure last year, also expressed his interest. Even less is known when it comes to the witnesses who are going to testify. Representative Burchett mentioned that the representatives involved in the UAP hearing are keeping their cards close this time around, as last year some of the witnesses were intimidated and withdrew their interest in participation in the hearing. So far only one name is known, that of Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who is an oceanographer by trade and an expert when it comes to USOs, or unidentified submerged objects, and has already expressed his conviction regarding non-human intelligent presence on this planet, and also mentioned sightings of large objects as big as oil rigs moving underwater at tremendous speeds on the order of hundreds of knots. Speculations regarding other witnesses are rife, and names of those people who we would like to hear testifying involve astronomer Dr. Beatrice Villarroel, who studies the famous 1952 Washington DC sightings, Dr. Eric Davis, a physicist working for the US government and possibly directly involved in the reverse engineering program, and along the same lines, veteran of study at the borderline between physics and human consciousness, Dr. Hal Puthoff. Recent days saw Michael Herrera, the former US serviceman, claiming he saw an ARV, or a reversed engineered craft based on alien technology in Indonesia in late 2000s, willing to testify. Many hope that Lou Elizondo, currently going through a series of interviews in the wake of his book Imminent, will also testify. Last but not least, we have Jason Sands, an alleged first-hand witness to the UAP retrieval and recovery program, who is going to appear in the upcoming documentary on the topic by director James Fox. This documentary has already seen a trailer, a link to which you can find in the comments below, and is going to be released hopefully still this month, or perhaps in November. In addition to Sands, it also features the aforementioned Hal Puthoff, who admitted direct participation in the reverse engineering program, and Gary McKinnon, the famous British hacker who allegedly breached Pentagon's cyber defenses at the dawn of this century and saw high-resolution photos of UFOs and a list of US Space Force staff, including both human and non-human personnel. He faced extradition to the USA and a sentence possibly as long as 70 years in prison. Moving on, we had Pavel from the Psychoactivo podcast dropping what many saw as a bombshell piece of news. He claimed that his sources close to the European Space Agency and users of the James Webb Telescope came upon two discoveries. One of those involved data from the research program many possibly know, SETI at Home. Allegedly, the data is still being studied, and it seems to include what seems to be light signals characteristic for cities on the surface of a nearby exoplanet, likely Proxima Centauri b. The second discovery was supposedly made by the James Webb Telescope, which observed a massive object en route towards the solar system at a distance of just over one light year, and corrected its course a few times, a feature which would indicate a sentient controller of the object. This piece of news was then propagated by several YouTube channels often covering UFO UAP topics, just to name Simon Holland, cordially known as Professor, Patrick from the Vetted channel, and a few others. I have also seen this notion being picked up by some of the independent media outlets, to the point where the topic of a possible classified hearing regarding discoveries made by the JWST before the Congress was touched upon by the Washington DC based journalist Matt Laszlo from Escapol, who asked several representatives about such a hearing. This apparently did not take place. Many people also pointed out the flaw in the reasoning regarding JWST. It would be unable to find such an alleged object flying our way unless it was the size of a fairly large planet at the very least. So far, this piece of news seems to be indeed dead. This was also followed up by Simon Holland claiming that the Parkes Observatory telescope in Australia also found an irrefutable proof of life within a 10 light-year radius, propagated by tabloid press in Ireland and in the UK. Last but not least was the unexpected article published by Michael Schellenberger, a journalist who recently got interested in the UAP topics and has already provided several important reports. He was apparently contacted by a credible whistleblower who informed him that following the 2017 publication in New York Times, which involved the three now declassified videos confirmed by the Pentagon to be authentic, so the gimbal, the Go Fast, and the Tic Tac videos, the Pentagon created a master program coordinating and governing everything related to tracking of crashed or landed UAPs and their recovery and retrieval all over the world. The program was allegedly named Immaculate Constellation. The choice of the name is peculiar. Some point out it is a faint echo of names such as Project Sign or Jehovah, another name for the famous MJ-12 group. People doing research from their homes found out that the name of the project was included in Google searches around the time of the 2023 UAP hearing, this fact lending further indirect credibility to the news. The whistleblower's credibility looks solid, and his information was also corroborated by another alleged whistleblower speaking anonymously on Twitter as well. People also speculate on the name of the project, that it may refer to the constellation of Virgo and the possible source of a signal or other data indicating the non-human presence somewhere in this area of the sky. So, as you can see, after some more quiet time, the fall of 2024 flashes out to be quite the busy time for the UFO community. Which one of the events piqued your interest, and which one are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comment section below. In the meantime, take care, thank you very much for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you again very soon in another video.